Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Prince Albert police are investigating alleged inappropriate behavior from a taxi driver after a passenger's video garnered attention on Facebook. The original post alleges that a taxi driver exposed themselves to a customer during a ride over the weekend. Yesterday, the Prince Albert Police Service released a statement that the investigation began following a third-party complaint in relation to the video posted online. The police service says both the original poster and cab company have been contacted and the investigation is now ongoing. The manager of Checker and Family Taxi told CTV that the driver has been removed from the road while the investigation is ongoing and that video from the taxi has been handed over to police. One person has died and another seriously injured following a crash south of Prince Albert. The emergency crews were called to the crash on Highway 3 South near Davis Road at about 6 o'clock last night. Parkland Ambulance says one person was declared dead at the scene. Another person, a 42-year-old man, was taken to hospital with serious injuries. About 45 minutes later, paramedics responded to another crash on Highway 3 near the first crash. No one was injured, and it's not clear if the second crash happened while vehicles were detoured around the first one. But Parkland Ambulance is reminding drivers to slow down when passing emergency vehicles and be careful when passing by a crash scene. RCMP are searching for a former Saskatoon business owner who's accused of defrauding his customers. The Mounties began investigating 42-year-old Jason Pasick and his timber construction business in January of 2024. RCMP say people reported signing a contract with his company, but once payments were sent, they could no longer get in contact with him and did not receive the project they paid for. A warrant has now been issued for Pasick, who is facing one count of fraud under $5,000 and one count of fraud over $5,000. RCMP are asking the public to help locate him. He's described as 5'7" with green eyes and brown hair. Police believe he is in the Saskatoon area, but his current whereabouts are unknown. Saskatchewan's Ministry of Highways is reminding the public to be aware and take caution when on the roads this winter. It says drivers need to be extra careful when driving around snowplows, making sure to give those machines ample space. Drivers should never pass the snowplows on the right side. The provincial highway hotline with real-time road conditions is available on the website app or by calling 511. It also shows the locations of snowplows clearing Saskatchewan highways.
Don't be passing on hills and curves and intersections, and I know there's people out there doing it because I see it every day, so I just want to remind people that those rules still apply in the winter. Even if the snowplow is still in your way, just wait for the right time to pass.
Plow operators try to let traffic pass every 10 to 15 kilometers if it's safe for them to pull over. Each day it feels a little closer to that dreaded winter weather, Jeff, and the temperature's starting to drop too.
Boy, they sure are. We've been talking about this for a while, John. The temperatures are slowly getting colder. It's not a big precipitous drop-off, but it's slowly and surely trending downwards, and that's certainly going to be the case for this weekend. But what's not happening, you talked about earlier on, snow. I don't think there's going to be snow plows out because, yes, we had snow in southern Saskatchewan, but central and northern areas didn't get that much. And then as everything else sort of plays out, it looks like the prairies are going to be quite quiet when it comes to active weather, but it's going to be cold, and we'll talk about those numbers later on.
Saskatoon City Council is turning up the heat on the province to open its wallet. During budget talks, groups like the Police Service, SaskTel Centre and the Public Library lined up to make their funding pitches, and councillors are zeroing in on provincial support. Coming back to one question, how much money is the province kicking in? Today, Councillor Randy Donauer gave Ramey Modern some pointed advice. Get connected with provincial cabinet ministers.
The Premier and his party did signal this past month at their convention that they want to win back some seats in Saskatoon, and I'm not going to enter into the political fray about whether they will or not. I'm just saying they've signaled that they're looking to do something in Saskatoon. I would encourage your board to step forward.
Donauer says there's a big gap between how much money Regina gets from the province compared to Saskatoon, and that needs to change. CTV has contacted the provincial government for comment. Elementary school students are taking on the challenge of making their communities more sustainable. The grade 3-4 split class at Brilliant Star Montessori in Saskatoon is working on a project to help the environment. They're taking a proposal to grocery stores. Their teacher had students write a convincing letter to managers to see if stores would consider having refill stations for products like soap and shampoo. Their goal is to reduce waste. Letters were delivered Wednesday to stores, along with the request to reduce the amount of plastic in products they sell.
If we learn it when we're younger, then we can continue to do it as adults. If there's too much garbage, the ecosystem and a lot of plants and animals would go endangered.
The students have spent the last few weeks learning about sustainability, what it means, why it matters, and how they can take steps to reduce waste. When we come back, hundreds of pieces of art on display. We find out about the 47th annual Kyla Art Show and Sale.
We're at Mont St. Joseph with some members of the Kyla Artist Group to talk about the upcoming art show this weekend. So the show's coming up. Would one of you be able to just give me a rundown of what exactly happens the day of?
It's an art show and sale, so we have all our 15 artists or so. They're main members, and then we also include some guest members. And we set up the show, and people are able to come take a look and purchase the art. And also, Mont St. Joe's is going to provide hors d'oeuvres and a bar for us. So it's like a really nice event.
Could you maybe give some background on how this relationship with Mont St. Joe's got established?
We were approached by Wayne Nodier, the CEO of Mont St. Joe's. We had been working with Rotary Club previously, and I think I'm assuming he had a little talk with Rotary Club and decided he would like this event to be primarily Mont St. Joe's. They're always needing to do fundraising, of course, and that's a part of the relationship. They get their fundraising from ticket sales and as well from percentage of our artwork sales. And so any purchase, even a visit here and buying a ticket, you're contributing to this beautiful facility. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you haven't walked in here, you know, it's nice to get a kind of a feel for the place too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, they've been more than accommodating. It's a really special place, and I know that they are very welcoming for groups to come in. Anything that kind of adds to their space and for their not patrons, residents, and gives them something kind of fun to do. Or like I've done plays here as well, and sort of this deal that their residents get to come and see the show for free. So we're more than happy to have that happen, given that all the stuff they do for us. So, and it just, yeah, it's a really nice relationship we have going with them, and hope to continue for many years to come. So.
Is there anything that you would most, I guess this goes for both of you, but you would most want the public to understand about this art show and your relationship with St. Joe's?
One of the things I'd like everyone to know, it's all local. Local meaning Prince Albert area and taking in the north. We have artists from La Ronge and often from other towns around the area. And, you know, when you're purchasing Christmas gifts or something that just strikes you, I always think it's wonderful to buy local. And, you know, that's I think very much appreciated when people come in. And, you know, certainly you can just come in to take a look. But if something strikes you, yes, you're buying from our local artisans. And our relationship with Mont St. Joe's, I think I'm thinking it could even expand to other areas. You know, like they're often looking for artists to help their residents to develop their skills. And we do often have a space here on the wall for one of their residents who does artwork. Tickets used to be a lot more. When we had a gala show, and found that I think with the economy, affecting all of us, not just the Kyla group, but we decided to bring that amount down to $10. And
we want it to be accessible, and COVID, for many places, affected us. First we had to do an online show one year and stuff, and we have found that the attendance has come down. I mean, I think it's slowly coming back, but it's like going to the art gallery, and there's many different types of art, and it's a really nice event, and it's been going on for 47 years, so we must be doing something right, and hopefully, more to come. So, yeah.
Well, thank you both for meeting me out here, and I'm sure you have a very busy weekend ahead.
Weather's coming up right after the break, and later, a report shows Canadians are waiting longer for medical procedures. So, Jeff, you were talking about it. Just little by little, it's going down the temperature, and probably that's a lot better than those 30-degree swings.
Oh, yeah. Those times when it's like, it's not so bad today, and then bam, it's like, and people get cranky in a hurry, trust me. They take their wrath out on the weather guy. Bottom line is, though, this is still a slow march downward in terms of our temperatures, John, and it's going to be quite cold this winter. Next week, we might have a short break, and I mean a short break, but a break nonetheless, so we'll keep our eye on that. On the West Coast, a bit of a break today, but more rain moving into particularly southern parts of British Columbia and then into the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Out in eastern Canada, it has been a messy day. There have been multiple watches and warnings in effect for freezing rain, snow. It's just been an ugly situation, and that system continues to move up through the Great Lakes, and another system is also impacting parts of Newfoundland and other parts of Atlantic Canada. So an uglier situation out in eastern Canada, but across the prairies, it's quiet. Oh, it's quiet. It's too quiet. All right, let's move on. We've got ourselves a situation tomorrow where these pressure lines aren't very close together, so the isobar lines gapping like that means not much in the way of wind. And you can certainly see on the computer modeling, there's no purple blobs moving in with some snow, and there's no green in terms of rain or pink with a rain-snow mix. So really quiet conditions across Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. We've got ourselves 15 on the minus side for Spiritwood, minus 16 for the Battlefords, minus 13 in Candle Lake and Birch Hills, and Rosthern, minus 11 for both Nipawin and Melfort. And most of these locations dealing with mainly cloudy skies, maybe some fog patches showing up in the overnight. Cloudy skies and minus 9 tomorrow for a number of communities, including Spiritwood, the Battlefords, Candle Lake, Birch Hills, Melfort, and Rosthern. Well, Rosthern has a bit more in the way of sunshine breaking through the cloud deck. Mainly cloudy at minus 8 tomorrow in Nipawin. Yes, those temperatures are below seasonal. So for Prince Albert tonight, minus 13 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. The wind's backing off, and we do anticipate some fog patches developing in the overnight. Ooh, beautiful rime ice weather. Okay. On to tomorrow's temperature. Well, that's going to be minus 9. That's below seasonal by about 5 degrees. Cloudy conditions, winds out of the southeast at 10, so a light wind. And then as we take a look at the following days, minus 10 degrees on Friday, minus 12 on Saturday, Sunday minus 13, and back to minus 12 on Monday and Tuesday. And ouch, 1 week from today, minus 16 degrees for a daytime high. So I think it's time to break out the long johns.
I was just going to ask you, Jeff, is there a certain temperature or just go by feel and when you decide, okay, it's time for toques or mitts?
You know what? I don't have a number, but yeah, you're right. Look, I'm already at that point. Not toque yet, but I think we're into toque weather once we get into next week.
I think you're right. Well, speaking of gloves, you definitely don't want to drop the gloves against this next subject of this next story, because the Prince Albert Raiders continue to have success in the first half of the WHL regular season. They're currently on a 5-game point streak.
Towards the middle for Harvey. Harvey gets it back. Now it comes back to left. Too many men on the ice. There is 6 weeks. Doesn't matter. They score!
Czech defenseman Maciej Mann's first career WHL goal, helping the Raiders to a 4-1 win Friday for a total of 16 wins out of 21 games. They've only lost one game in regulation time all season. That came on the U.S. road trip against Tri-City. Their 36 points has the team in second place in the East, behind the Edmonton Oil Kings, who have played 5 more games than the Raiders.
The start that we've had is due to, the work that this group has put in from a team perspective to a staff perspective. Just a lot of hard hours. Guys have really fell in love with the details. And again, it's led to a lot of tremendous success for us.
The Raiders are in Brandon Friday night for a rematch of last Friday. Then the Cobra Chicken jerseys come out Saturday when the Raiders host the Medicine Hat Tigers. A graduating University of Saskatchewan Huskies football player knows where he'll play next year.
Extra protection for Gonzalez. He's in trouble, and Hundeby sacks the Montreal quarterback.
Linebacker Seth Hundeby signed a contract with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Hundeby capped off his Huskies career with the 2025 U Sports President's Trophy for Best Defensive Player in the country. He's a 2-time U Sports first-team All-Canadian, and he led Canada West Conference with 6 tackles for loss this year. Hundeby was picked by the Riders in the 4th round of the 2025 CFL Draft.
The 1990s were weird in the CFL. You've probably heard teams in Texas, Alabama, and Baltimore, and many Rider games were not televised. But we found some rare footage of a few games from that era, including this one at Taylor Field between the Riders and the Baltimore Stallions in 1995. Ironically, schedules from the time show the game was broadcast on ESPN2 in the U.S., but no Canadian TV network. Means most fans north of the border never saw this game unless you were there. And who says Canadians can't compete with Americans when it comes to football? This was a seesaw battle that saw Baltimore open the scoring before the Riders' Don Narcisse got a touchdown late in the second quarter. And after 2 Dave Ridgway field goals, the Riders were leading by 1 heading into the 4th. It would come down to a big run by Tracy Ham with less than 4 minutes to go, running 45 yards into the end zone to give Baltimore the lead. The Riders ended up losing a heartbreaker, 28-24. Saskatchewan missed the playoffs that year, but proved one thing: they could compete with the best American team in the CFL. And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and wood-finished televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
A new report suggests more Canadians are dying while they're on the wait list to receive crucial medical care. SecondStreet.org filed Freedom of Information requests across the country between April 2024 and March of this year. In that time, nearly 24,000 patients passed away while waiting for surgeries or diagnostic procedures. That's a 3% increase from the year before. The report says some jurisdictions provided partial data, and Alberta and some parts of Manitoba provided none, so the total may be higher. Alberta has introduced a bill that, if passed, has the potential to lead to a 2-tier healthcare system. The province says the move will improve surgical wait times and attract more physicians, but not everyone is on board with the changes. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
On Monday, the province introduced Bill 11, and among the many proposed changes to the healthcare system is one that introduces a dual-model healthcare system, where certain doctors will be able to choose whether they bill a service to the province or a patient privately on a case-by-case basis.
The proposed amendments in this bill represent a new era for healthcare in Alberta.
There are exclusions. All emergency care and urgent surgeries, as well as cancer treatments, will only be covered by the public plan. There will be no private options. Also, family doctors are restricted from participating in the dual practice at this time.
I think this is a tool that will help us retain physicians and other healthcare professionals that are frankly going to other jurisdictions, and it will retain that activity in the Alberta economy as opposed to sending it to other jurisdictions.
But the Alberta Medical Association isn't sure it'll be a big lure.
Our big concern with at the Alberta Medical Association is how do we potentially add private care to our system that already is struggling with the public system, and particularly when it comes to workforce.
The province says they might make changes to the rules in the future, like making doctors do certain number of public services before they can do private. But at this time, those restrictions aren't in place.
If the private system is more lucrative, and if the patients within the private system on average have less complex medical needs, then the concern is that they're going to prioritize those private patients and that the patients left in the public system are going to wait longer for care.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
Probably a little bit early, but are you starting to get, Jeff, into that holiday spirit?
Hey, tomorrow is American Thanksgiving.
And that means everything from there on is just Christmas time.
Pretty much.
Good news, because Canadian rocker Bryan Adams is releasing a new album in time for the holidays, and it features Canadian artists, including Saskatoon's The Sheepdogs. A guy from BC and a couple of guys from Saskatchewan are singing California Christmas. It's the first single off a great big holiday jam. In addition to the Sheepdogs, it also includes a Canadian cast with Alessia Cara, Alan Doyle, and Bare Naked Ladies. The song was recorded in Vancouver and is available now. The Sheepdogs are featured on a handful of songs from that album, which is released December 8th. And I gotta say, do you have a favorite? Is it Bryan Adams or the Sheepdogs, Jeff, if you got to pick one?
Come on. It's like, that's not fair. I am not going to, give you an answer.
Well, there you go. Bryan Adams, my first concert, but I definitely would pick the Sheepdogs.
Okay, there you go.
I'm a homer.